Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the SFL podcast here in season 12 of the SFL. Joining me today here, we have Ramos Lynn, co-owner of the Mexico City Aztecs. How you doing, Ramos?
I'm doing really good. Thank you very much for having me one more time, as usual.
Oh, yeah.
And excited to have now basically the best teams are starting to take some shape. We are seeing some teams turn the corner, and we are seeing the a little bit more of the teams that should wait for next season.
Yeah, we're getting to that little turning point here. We just finished up week 8. We're going into week 9. You have a couple teams that are sitting towards the bottom. One thing I found was interesting right now so far is uh, no one has actually statistically been eliminated from the playoffs just yet, and that includes the one-win team down in St. Louis. So if things go the right way for them, they even at I believe they're 1-7 or 1-6. I can't remember if they had their bye week yet. But they even have that possibility of jumping into the playoffs. I mean, it's going into week 9, and we have some crazy stuff that could be happening in the next few weeks. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, a lot of stuff needs to match for them. They need to obviously win out, and they need to wait for some losses from the top teams. But still in play. I mean, we've seen teams before win out and get some lucky bounces, like
Mm-hmm.
Carolina a couple seasons ago. We saw Oklahoma City a couple seasons ago at five and
Yeah.
seven make the playoffs. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, honestly, and that's kind of the beauty, in my opinion, of this league is you never really know what's going to happen on a week to week basis. You can plan as much as you want, but you never know what's actually going to be put on the field each week.
Yes, definitely.
And just going to dive right into it, honestly. And I think the one game that stands out to me right off the bat is the Houston Hyenas at Denver. This game, uh, Denver has been one of the highest scoring leagues in the team throughout the first 8 weeks, and then they get held to 9 points by Houston Hyenas. Now, granted, I can't fault them. Eddie Gage is a great defensive coordinator down there, and he just recently became co-owner for Houston. So congratulations there, Mr. Two Scoops, future Hall of Famer in my opinion. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about it. Honestly, I believe he leads the league in tackles all time.
Yeah, he does.
And so he's one hell of a defensive coordinator. It's kind of his job. I mean, he's had a few rough weeks so far this season, but for the most part, he's still held these high quality offenses to a lower output, and then leaving Denver to 9 points only. And I think they only lost, if I remember correctly, on like a last second field goal or like a shortly before the end of the game field goal, more or less. And
No, it was
so
actually as time expired. So the kick was made with like 3 seconds to go, and by the
there,
time
okay,
the ball was in the air,
yeah, I
the
was
clock expired.
I was trying to remember exactly how it all went down. I was like, I know it was really close, if not actually when time expired. Um, but that still leaves us with Denver, the only undefeated team through 8 weeks at 7-0. And we mentioned St. Louis earlier here, and you'd have to think that Denver is kind of the clear favorite to at least be a lock for the playoff. Which, going back to that point of no team's been eliminated, there's actually been no team guaranteed a playoff spot just yet. Even the 7-0 Denver Nightwings are not guaranteed right now. And I know Jeremy's going to hate me for saying it, but if they lose five in a row, it's very likely they actually miss the playoffs. So you never know what could happen.
Yeah, right now it's more likely that they will, even if they lose out. If
Yeah,
they finish the season at 7-5. It's more the fact that if some of the teams win and they end up losing against a team that will have the tiebreaker on them, so it's kind of a long stretch. So Denver is more in than out.
exactly.
But still, obviously, Denver will like to finish out strong and
Yeah.
finish just with many possible wins as possible, so they can get home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, and we've seen teams before have their undefeated regular seasons. We had season 10, we had Tallahassee. Last season, we had Alaska, who made the whole entire run undefeated through the championship game. So I mean, we know it's possible. It's not an easy feat, but it's definitely possible.
Yep.
And speaking of Tallahassee and Alaska, We got our, I believe, it was our second rematch of the season, or it could be the first rematch. Do you remember? Is this the first time they met up in the regular season this season?
Which team? Sorry, Alaska and
Alaska and Tallahassee.
Tallahassee. Well, it's the second time. The first
Is
time
it the second
Alaska
time?
was able to win.
Okay.
Yeah, Alaska was able to win on the first attempt.
Yep. And this
Pretty sure
time,
the score was about
Tallahassee.
27-13.
Yep. And Tallahassee this time was able to get over that hump, that metaphorical hump in Alaska there. Finally pulling out
Yeah,
that win against them in the last I guess 3 seasons technically, because now they played them twice this season.
yeah,
So
it's one of the best. It's definitely one of the best game-winning drives I've seen in a long time,
oh
and
yeah,
it,
it
it
was.
does it this does include the one that we just spoke about of Denver and Houston,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all credit to Denver. They were able to drive down the field and score the field goal, but it's way more impressive when you can drive down the field all the way against the defending champions and score a touchdown to
Yeah,
win it.
especially with such a high caliber defense that Alaska
Yeah,
has. Mighty he's constantly one of those top defenses in the leagues, and just seeing them get picked apart basically on that final drive is just it's something short of basically legend, more or less. I mean,
yeah,
you
most
look
definitely.
you look at the NFL. I know it's a naughty little language here for the SFL, but you look at the SFL, and there's literally one game winning drive that is just called the drive, and that'd be John Elway over there in Denver. I mean,
Right.
it's legendary. I mean, that's the only way you can put it is if you're able to do these things in the high clutch, high quality, this is prime time moments. Those things are usually made into legend. People don't forget those kind of things, and I don't want to say like this
Yeah.
is that caliber, but I mean it was reminiscent of those kind of things.
Right. Especially when your offense becomes predictable. I mean, because you knew that Tallahassee had to throw the ball,
Yep.
and you have the guys up front, and Dominguez and Bain who can rush the passer.
Oh yeah.
Alaska has a very good couple of corners with Carroll and Ryan Davidson. They have a very good safety, right? And for us to look at how Tallahassee was able to drive the ball down the field with that ease
Yep.
was impressive, and they were able to pick up those mismatches. They were able to involve their tie in on that last drive against the
Yeah.
linebackers.
Yep.
So it was a really really good drive by Tallahassee, who deserved to win that game.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna go over one more, at least one more game here. Um, the Dallas Lobos against your Aztecs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what happened, honestly. I don't know. I think this is the most points that Dallas has ever scored in a game. I could be wrong on that, and I'm sure Crash or Steven will correct me if I'm wrong.
Well,
Um,
actually, let me do it.
oh,
It
all
was
right.
last week, actually. This game, they scored 58. Last week against the St. Louis Gladiators, they scored 59.
Oh, you're right. That was last week. Okay.
So,
Okay, so it
correct.
was the most
So,
they've scored
so that,
since last week. So let me just put my foot in my mouth.
all right, but still very impressive. And
Yeah.
the word that we can put it was domination. I mean, they completely dominated back to front to back,
Yeah.
in every single aspect of the game. They just dominated, and it was just a matter of they had the correct game plan.
Oh yeah.
And
It seemed like they really had it figured out.
yes, the stadium was rocking. We were making some mistakes, just bad play calling. We
Yeah.
panicked by the time we were down by 17-7, and with the Jeffrey Dax fumble, and he fumbled again, um, and then it just everything unraveled by the in the blink of an eye. We were from winning 7-3 to losing 31-7,
Yeah.
and it was just impossible to come back with that offense. And the defense, in some chances you could see, and defense was there, but just the Dallas Stars were just making the plays and
Yeah.
just overpowering our defense.
Yeah. And I mean, not that I really like. Obviously, don't want to pile onto it. But Zach Sandlin, he did give himself. I mean, a great game. He had 281 yards on the ground, almost 10 yards a carry. I mean, and the 5 touchdowns. I mean, to be honest, it looked a little bit like last season's MVP there, and single season rushing
Yeah,
record holder, Jaya Aniola back there. I mean,
yeah,
he was just bowling guys over. Dula in the backfield, just slinging the ball everywhere, just over 300 yards. And the defense actually, although they did give up 39 points, I believe about half of those points came against backups, if I remember correctly. Um,
Yeah, and not only that, but actually what happened is that there was a kick return for a touchdown, and there
yep.
was also a pick six. So really, the Lobos defense allowed only 26 points,
Yeah.
which two touchdowns and four field goals, which was impressive because
Yeah.
Dallas Lobos defense came in as one of the units that allowed the most points,
Yep.
and we were coming into the game as one of the best offenses. So yeah, it was really impressive what they did. Able to contain us for field goals instead of us scoring touchdowns,
Yeah.
essentially.
And as another note of detail, I guess here, earlier today we did have a announcement as well coming out of Dallas. Um, their general manager and defensive coordinator Crash Combs was promoted to co-owner after an owner vote. So congratulations to you as well, Crash. Um,
Hmm.
Steven's very lucky to have you down there in Dallas, and I mean, if this game here against Mexico is any sign, you've definitely started to figure out how to get your defense firing on all cylinders. And I mean, right now Dallas sitting at 5-3. They've one more win and they've doubled their win total through the last two seasons. I mean, so this by any means necessary is what it seems like it's going for them, and by any standard, this is an amazing season for them, even just sitting at five
Yes,
and three.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and he's doing a great job as a GM. The first week of the season, they lost against the St. Louis Gladiators. That's the
Yep.
only St. Louis Gladiators win, and the fact that they have been able to, with player progression, stay patient and just improve every player to where they are right now, the best offense in the league.
Yep.
The defense starting to make some plays. There's that defense sometimes can allow a lot of chunk plays, but they can
Yeah.
also take the ball away. They have a really good pass rush, and they're playing very good football right now.
Yeah. So, and I mean, just it's a team that's definitely on the rise. I mean, considering the last two seasons, they're definitely on the rise there. Um, and just looking across the league here, we'll give a little bit more shout outs here. We do have London. Rob Roby, unfortunately, I didn't say this earlier, but he's unfortunately able to join us tonight. Him and his London Knights were able to top the OKC Renegades 34-13. Baltimore put a little bit of a stomping on Indianapolis 32-14. Sioux Falls pulls out a victory against New Orleans 13-24. We got San Francisco Sharks being able to top the St. Louis Gladiators 21-16. Vancouver 37-24 over the Corsairs, and the Fury fall to the Swarm 34-38. So I mean, outside of a couple of games, we had, I wouldn't say one-sided games, because we did have ones that were Carolina and Tulsa 33-23, 24-23. We had 7-9. So outside of a couple of those, some of them were won by like a handily margin, I guess you would say. It's a more comfortable margin, if I would say. I mean, 13 points, 12 points. I mean, more or less is kind of a more comfortable, especially as the time winds down.
Right.
So it's one of those. It's just one of those weeks where it's not really blowouts, but it's not the most competitive of games. But at the same time, it's just football. I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, any given Sunday is what is always the term that's given out there.
Right.
So, and then we'll kind of move forward here and look at week 9. Outside of your own game, which I believe should be one of the top games of the week, Mexico City versus Alaska at Azteca Stadium, or what is it, Estadio Azteca?
That is correct.
There we go. So I got a little bit in me. Come on now.
That's a very good one. That was good. Kudos to you.
Thank you. I work on it a little bit. I got to sound somewhat knowledgeable. So, but yeah, so we got Alaska visiting Mexico. I mean, in my opinion, that'll be one of the games of the week. I see Mexico having a bounce back game. I mean, I don't see them being throttled like that 2 weeks in a row. I don't think you'll let that. I don't think you'll let that happen. Um, I'm almost positive I can see. I'm almost positive right now we're doing the podcast, and you're probably still doing playbooks because the playbooks haven't been put in just yet.
Yeah,
So
I'm still having I'm still trying to figure things out here, just trying to fix some stuff and just trying to anticipate what they're gonna do. They're a very good team
yeah,
all the time. So
yeah, and so besides your own game, which I kind of touted there for you, what's another game that you're kind of looking forward to here? We're looking at Sioux Falls at Queen City, Denver at London, Dallas at San Fran. I mean, there's a couple of them that I could see could be pretty competitive games. Besides the Alaska at Mexico City game, I think I'll actually go with the OKC Renegades versus the Chicago Wildcats. Um, it, Chicago is one of those teams that's always they're interesting to me. Let's put it. I guess I could put it that way. Some weeks they ball out, as everybody says. They go absolutely crazy. They average about 20 points a game, and then their defense gives up about 24 points a game. But like I was saying a couple weeks ago, a lot of those losses, actually two of the three losses I know for sure, were complete blowouts where their offense did put up almost nothing. And then the defense gave up like 40, 45 points ish. So although they give up more points than they allow, it's kind of inflated because of some blowout games.
right.
So, but that's kind of my pick of the games. I think Chicago is going to have a good game against them. We'll see how OKC is going to be able to kind of to work into this. You got Chicago at 4-3, OKC at 3-4. Um, the defense for OKC, I'm a little worried about. They do allow, I think it's about 31 points a game ish. Let's see here, 31.43 points per game, and their offense puts up about 27 per game. So it's one of those games that I could see how if you look at those numbers straight away, just looking specifically at those, you'll see OKC kind of winning it by that. But like I said, you have to remember that the Chicago defense has given up a lot of points, and the offense has been put up in those blowout losses. So their numbers are a little bit skewed, in my opinion. And Chicago's been a solid team for the last few years, and we're getting into that point in the season where I feel Shan's plan here with the player progression for everybody is going to start kicking in, and this is kind of at the point where they were, I believe, last year when they went on this good win streak to put themselves in the playoffs. So
Right.
I'm excited to watch them and see how they're going to do in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Chicago has very underrated players. I mean, they have JC Torres on the outside. He's a very good number one receiver.
Yes.
They have some very underrated players. For game of the week, I'm gonna go with the obvious one. I'm gonna go Baltimore and Tallahassee
Okay.
right now. Baltimore is a team that they know how to do one thing very well. They do a lot of things very well. They can stop the pass, they can run the ball,
Yeah.
so they know how to stop that run. They have two very good linebackers, and Tallahassee, what they like to do is run defenses. So linebackers can fly, fight,
No, I think I'm losing you there, Ramos. You kind of went robot on me, and I can't hear you. All right. Well, I'll kind of take over here for Ramos. Hopefully, he's able to kind of pick back up here. But yeah, Baltimore Tallahassee should be a really great game. You look at the stats here, offensive stats. We got Tallahassee 25 points a game. Baltimore's right there at 26 points a game on the offense. Defensively, Baltimore is towards the best of the league at
obviously.
17.43. Oh, there, you get back, Ramos.
Yeah, I'm back.
There you go. There we go.
Okay, can
Go
you hear me?
ahead, pick up.
Uh, all right. Not sure where I was at when I was out. But I was saying is that Tallahassee, what they like to do is run the ball. Baltimore, what they like to do is, and they can do very well, is stop that run with the two linebackers.
Oh yeah.
So if the linebackers can fly to the football and can fly to AJ Francis, they have a very good shot. Will they be able to do that? Not sure. If you look at what's in stage right now. Tallahassee's coming off a very emotional win against the last, whereas Baltimore comes off an easier win. So sometimes that is bad for, in this case, Tallahassee coming up an emotional win. Um, but Tallahassee is at home, so it's gonna be
Yeah.
a very tough game to predict. Really, I'm still gonna go with Tallahassee
Hmm.
because they're at home. But man, it could be just like a 2 point game, so like 24 to 20. Hearing who you got right now, the 3-4 London Knights have the upper hand over the Denver Knight.
Yeah, that's surprising to me.
By actually, yeah, that's
I think I'm losing you again here. I'm not sure what's going on with your robotness here. You do really well for a little bit, and then you kind of drop off. That's all right. We'll be able to work around this here, guys. So, uh, I'll look up the who you got here just so we can finish that up here as well. So yeah, we do have. We'll start it here again. We do have the London Knights got that 50-44 advantage in the who you got this week, which is surprising considering 3-4 London goes against the 7-0 7-0 Denver Nightwings. Uh, but then we also have the Mexico City 6-2 going against the 4-3 Alaska, and they're actually popped up there at 49-41 for the advantage on the game here. Other ones are a little bit more lopsided. Queen City at 5-2 going against the 3-5 Sioux Falls, 63 in favor to 29 in favor of Queen City. We got Vancouver at Tulsa, both of them at 3-4, but the voting's got the edge to Vancouver, 59-30. Dallas at 5-3 and San Francisco at 4-4. I think this could be partially a knee-jerk reaction to how Dallas played against Mexico City this last week, but they have Dallas handily winning this one, 70 votes to 24 votes for Dallas. And then we have our fan vote of the night here, Baltimore going against Tallahassee. So we'll see what they go here, but right now that vote comes out to a really close one here at 44 to Tallahassee and 47 to Baltimore. Are you back, Ramos?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm not
There
sure.
we
I think
go.
it was the connection. I was able to, I think, to finish my thought, and yeah, you were picking up from Baltimore, Tallahassee.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's close. I mean, you cannot really say with confidence, hey, this team is going to win or that team is going to win. I don't think. I mean, it's going to depend on many factors, and I think that Tallahassee will be able to pull it off late because they are at home, and the run game is going to be able to overpower a little bit of the vultures, but
yeah,
it really could go either way. I would not be surprised if Baltimore wins this game by a touchdown. I mean,
yeah. I mean, in my
it's
opinion, it's
hard to
going to be
predict.
really close, also.
Yeah.
So, kind of continuing on here with your who you got. We do have Las Vegas at 3-4 at Carolina 3-5. Las Vegas, the fans have the vote for this one handily in Las Vegas' favor at 61-29. Um, any thought to that one from you?
I will agree with that, actually. I'm not surprised. I think that, Vegas is a team that can really play very good special teams, as we know. They have a good quarterback, and they have a good defense as well. Whereas Carolina, they're at home, they have that going for them. But I think their style of game right now is a little bit too inconsistent, where they don't have uh, a good, consistent run game right now. The defense is kind of hit or miss, as well as the passing attack. You get the games where Carolina just comes in and clicks, and they look good, and they just get to the games where they lay an egg. So I think that Vegas is right now the safer pick because I think they are right now the more solid team.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not saying it's gonna be a blowout. I don't think it's really gonna be a blowout, but I do think that Vegas will be able to win this game by probably a touchdown.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, last week Carolina was able to take it to Tulsa 33-23. But then you look back at week
Right.
7, and they got kind of the put it softly, got their butts handed to them, 21-52 against New Orleans.
Hmm.
So it might be one of those hit or miss weeks for them. We'll have to see how that goes. But then here's the team that I was saying we also could keep an eye on was the OKC at Chicago game, and this one's got Chicago handily on top here, 70-22 votes for Oklahoma City. Um, so it may be getting at that time where some people are starting to recognize Chicago, or I know Oklahoma City gets picked on a lot. So this could be part of that as well. But Oklahoma City, in my opinion, is not a team to sleep on by any means. I mean, they have 3 wins and
No.
only 4 losses. I mean, they have those 3 wins for a reason. They've definitely been able
Right.
to do what needs to be done. Um, but I'm hoping, and I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the people here to do the voting, that they're starting to see Chicago in the light that I'm kind of seeing them, and starting to respect them a little bit more here. Because this is definitely a team that when it gets to this point in the season, you really want to be weary of, or leery of. They went on a hot run the end of the season last season, and it's seeming to me like they're getting ready to do the same thing this season.
Yeah, yeah, likewise. You know what Oklahoma City needs to do, because you're speaking about the OKC Renegades.
Yep.
Uh, they cannot be slept on because they have a very good passing attack. They have a very good quarterback. They have Tavier's Bovine, which was still, after many, many years, a top three, top four tight end in the SFL.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might argue he's the best tight end in the SFL, and you cannot really be mad about it. He might be.
Yep. It's very
Um,
possible.
Right. So, they're still a team that has a lot of talent. What they need to do is that the offensive line needs to play better, and Deacon Nickens needs to get rid of the ball because he is by far the most sacked quarterback in the
Yes.
SFL. So when you get to those second and long, third and long, it's hard to convert on third down when you have third and 19 yards to go.
Yep.
So I think that
100%.
Oklahoma City needs to prevent that from happening. And to their benefit right now, Chicago doesn't have really that kind of pass rush right now that will. I mean, they have a nice pass rush. I'm not saying it's bad, but
Yeah.
probably they can be able to limit that pressure just a little bit.
Yeah. And kind of to go on that Oklahoma City part there, talking about the third and longs. I mean, you look at a team that has consistent third and 19s. Let's go with your example there, and they're going to convert maybe 20% of those. But if you get yourselves in those third and what they call more manageable, about those third and 5 and closer,
Right.
that bumps up to probably a little bit closer to about 50-60%. Maybe not 60, but more like 50%. So you have way better chances when it's within that like 5 yard range. I mean, you get within that 2 to 1 yard range, and the more often than not, you're actually going to pick that up, even with just like a short run. So it's just something that they got to work on with Deacon Nickens back there. He's going to be able to get rid of that ball quickly. They're gonna need more support of their run game as well from the blockers. They need to open up some holes for J.W. Doyle back there. I mean, you can't rely on just the arm of Deacon Nickens and being able to get it out fast enough to go to Tiberius Bovine or Buchanan. I believe Buchanan Simmons was one of the guys over there as well. Um, so it's something that they definitely got to be working on here. And if if it's something that they can handle this week, is the pass rush from Chicago. I feel they could win this one, but I'm still giving the edge to Chicago.
Yeah, I'm gonna give the edge to the Wildcats as well. I mean, I think that Oklahoma City definitely has a shot at this game, but I just think that Chicago right now is a stronger team. I think they are the more well balanced team
Yeah,
out of the two.
yeah. No, I would have to agree. We'll move on here to the next game. Here we got St. Louis going into Indianapolis to face off against the Spitfire. I believe I actually said Red Devils earlier. It's still new to me. The Indianapolis Spitfire, who and I don't believe we actually mentioned this before, but I will mention it now. Easy Temple, the former player Easy Temple. I've heard his first name is actually Allen. I'm not entirely sure about that. Don't quote me. Was promoted to uh, co-owner as well. originally, and now as of this moment, he has now officially become the only owner of Chicago, as James Richards did step down from his position. So congratulations to you there, Easy. And kind of getting back to the game here, we got St. Louis 1-7 and going into Indianapolis at 2-6. This one I feel might be more of a dig at St. Louis. They had their week one win and they've lost seven straight since then. And it's kind of showing in the votes where it's Indianapolis 65 votes to St. Louis's 26. It's one of it. I'm trying to find the right words to put this here. It's not so much that the season is over for St. Louis. It's more of we need to figure out what we can build upon, and on a week to week basis. In my
Okay.
opinion, they need to go back and they need to look at film, see what works the best each week, and kind of build upon that. Just keep those plays in there, add from there, and see what happens. It's I can't pick a specific area as to why they are where they are. It's the offense is not doing 100% of what needs to do. And like I was saying earlier in the season, they did lose a lot of the closer games that they were playing. But then recently they've been getting into these games where like week 6, 44-0 against Mexico City. Uh, Week 7 we had 48-59 against Dallas, like you had said earlier. So the offense did something there, but the defense couldn't hold up there. Last week we had 21-16. So like I said, it's not really blowouts, but it's just their offense isn't quiet and their defense are not really in unison. Let's put it that way. They
Right.
they have some weeks where the offense goes off, but then the defense is not. It's like they fell asleep on the field, and then they have weeks where the
Right.
defense comes to play, but the offense is like they fell asleep on the field. And so I'm not really. It's hard because it's trying to find that balance each week, and I know that trying to figure out your ratios, trying to figure out just all the different things that you need to do, and it's not easy.
Right.
I don't envy what you guys
No,
do
not at all.
on a week to week basis. Trust me, I don't envy that at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, and when you look at the team, when you look at the Gladiators, they have talent. I mean, they have a top, top pick as a quarterback in his round. I mean, they have a very talented QB. They have a very good safety, Marquise Reed. They have a really good running back in the Denzel Diaz. You know, you look at the team and you say, man, they have a lot of talent, but it's just the fact that they cannot get everything synced together,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just, and it can be just the minimum things. It's just like, if you take out a formation, that changes the whole offensive, you know,
Yep.
playbook and philosophy, and maybe it will be better. And it's just finding that right balance, and that's something that they will need to figure it out. Just stick to your plan, right? Just stick to a formula and
Yep.
just keep trying. It's just like, it's not that they don't have a good roster. It's just the fact that probably the playbook that they are using on the roster probably would work with another roster, but not on this one. It's just like you have to find just the perfect sync between everything: your players, your
Yeah.
playbook, your everything.
Yeah.
And and for St. Louis, it has not been the case this season, but maybe they tweak things in the offseason, and next season they come out on fire, just like the Dallas Lobos have.
Yeah. I mean, it's very possible. I mean, we alluded to it at least once a week here, where Dallas is they're having a great season according to any standards for a team that had 3 wins total through the last 2 seasons. Um, so I mean, it's very possible that this season is more of a learning season. They're still learning a little bit of the new systems, and next season they could have a complete explosion of everything. Um, so I mean, there might be a team to want to look out for, and I mean, for all I know, they could surprise everyone this week and actually destroy St. Louis. I mean, I don't hold the cards. I don't really know what happens here. So,
Right.
but we will move on to our final game of this upcoming week here, week 9. We have the New Orleans Pharaohs going into Atlanta to take on the 3-5 Swarm. The fans have this one a little bit closer than some of the other games at 56 votes for New Orleans to 32 votes for the Swarm. Uh, What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, I mean, Atlanta is at home, so it's difficult to win in Atlanta. You have the New Orleans Pharaohs who will come in at 5-3. Atlanta's at 3-5. I do like the Pharaohs, and the reason why is because of their quarterback. Xander Gold is one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year, and I think that he will be able to be effective against this Atlanta defense. I think that he will not make too many mistakes. He will have, as he has this season, a very good completion percentage. I think that he will be around 75 completion percentage in this game, and that's going to be more than enough for them to take the W. Um, as far as the Atlanta Swarm is concerned, they need to involve VDG Hollywood, take
Mm-hmm.
the ball off Sander Gold's hands, and rely on their running back. Defensively, it's going to be a matter of whether they can get a good pass rush on Sander Gold and whether the defensive backs can hold. Pat Ketza, for example, on the outside against the receivers, if they can hold and they can just force an errant throw. But still, I like the Pharaohs. I really like their offense. I like how effective they are, and I think that they will be able to win this game by maybe 8 to 10 points.
Okay. Yeah, honestly, I'd have to agree with that as well. I mean, it's going to come down to how well Atlanta can get their defense off the field, and then how long they can keep their offense on the field, involving BDG Hollywood. I mean, he's a great running back. He needs to be involved, honestly, and you still have a little bit of growing pains here with Marcus Dunhill every so often, and I mean that's to be expected. I mean, no one comes out of the gate just amazing every single week. In their first couple of seasons, so there's always a couple learning, a little bit of growing pains and a learning curve that happens there. And
Yeah,
they stick with him through his if he sticks through it and he kind of grows with them. I think this is a relationship that'll really grow, and benefit both parties there. Um, so hopefully that's what's gonna happen here. For New Orleans, they really got to rely on the efficiency of Xander Gold. You kind of alluded to it there with his completion percentage is normally super high. He normally has really good weeks on him. Uh, so there's kind of the hope there, that he's going to be able to continue that streak and do really well with that. And even though he may have some high completion percentage, you do really got to be careful in still not turning the ball over, because you may have a, let's say, 20 passes completed out of 25 attempts, but if those 5 incompletions are actually intercepted, then it doesn't really help your team whatsoever. Um,
right.
so, but I mean, definitely being able to keep the ball in your team's hands and everything is definitely something that you really want to be able to do, and having a high percentage of completions is really helpful with that as well. Um,
Yeah,
and for part of it that could help with that is a little bit of swing passes. Basically, let's put it swing some throws out to the outside, um, over there to Logan Jack, and he is one of the, I believe he's actually the leader in running back. Yeah, he actually is the leading target out of the backfield in the SFL with 77 targets. He's only one target ahead of Colin Hart. So uh, that's definitely how some teams are finding ways to keep their percentages in up there. And what's crazy about
yeah,
both of them as well is that Logan Jack over there in New Orleans actually has 5.1 yards per reception, but he only has 4.8 yards per carry. So he's actually
mm,
getting more yards through the air than he is on a per touch basis than he is carrying the ball. But that's also the same thing with Colin Hart. He's getting about 5.9 yards of reception, which correlates to his uh, rushing totals at 5.3 yards per carry. So maybe they're just finding ways to get them more involved, or they see something in the defenses that really they want to take advantage of when it comes to those two teams. And it seems to work for them,
right.
dumping it off to the running backs. But even then, you also got to remember that Colin Hart, he still has those 10 touchdowns. He's third in the league with touchdowns for rushing, behind only Zach Sandlin, who did just have his 5 touchdown game, and then Jared McChesney, which I think he had a 4 touchdown game last week as well, or not last week, 2 weeks ago. So
Mhm.
we got some touchdown hungry guys, and we'll see how this can kind of goes this week here.
Yeah, most definitely. Sandro Goal is not the quarterback that lights up the scoreboard. He does have obviously Geezer Powell on the outside, but he's not like Jack Louis-Dula this season, who just throws 50-yard passes, 30
Yeah,
yard bombs. Sandro Goal is more like, yeah, I'm gonna dump it up to my running back. I'm gonna throw it short, quick in
he's
route
gonna
to my
methodically pick
receiver.
you apart.
Right, right, and it's gonna be death by 1,000 bullets, and it's just gonna be a fact of whether Atlanta can limit the damage and just try to disrupt the timing routes of the New Orleans Pharaohs. It's just
Yeah,
gonna be a matter of that, I think.
yeah. No, I would have to agree with that. Um, so there we go, ladies and gentlemen. We got a little bit of a breakdown of the last week's games. I know we missed, I think, at least a week or two there. Um, we apologize for that. Some life things kind of happening, going on between the podcast crew. So stuff like that happens sometimes. We appreciate you guys kind of sticking with us through all of this. Um, are there any some final words you got there, Ramos?
Not really. I mean, I think that this is shaping to be a very exciting SFL season. I think that we are seeing a lot of teams that we didn't expect to see this good. And this is obviously no shot at any of the teams
Mm-hmm.
fighting right now, like Denver, like Dallas. This is not a shot at them because we know the quality of the owners.
Yep.
But this has been, pleasant surprises, and as well for teams that used to do pretty good and now they're going through a slump, like the Sioux Falls Sparrows, and those kind of teams where it's like, okay, they are in a down season. It happens to every single team, and let's see how they can bounce back.
Yep.
Um, maybe they will do it this season. Maybe next season is when they will come back to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of a credit to Commissioner Cam Irvine's strength of scheduling, basically the way he based off of the last. I believe he used like last season as a kind of a model, based off of records of how they finished and everything, and then built schedules around how teams finished. And I think that as a result, we're actually seeing some teams uh, really really shine. And I know some people are slightly worried about when it comes to a team that could be 7-5 at the end of the season, but then they play against a team who was still only like, let's say, 6-6, but they were a powerhouse team the last several seasons, and then that 6-6 team just destroys the 7-5 team because of they may not have played the greatest of stuff. But I feel that Dallas this last week, like I said, I hate to pick on you for it. I feel that Dallas this last week kind of
That's fine.
proves that that theory may not be quite valid. I mean, we saw Dallas last season take down Tallahassee, who was 10-0 into that game.
Mm-hmm.
We saw them come in this last week and take down Mexico City. I mean, it just you don't really know what's going to happen each week, and so I feel like
Yes, any
this
given
really
Sunday.
works. I feel like this really works. The scheduling that Cam did.
Yeah, me too. And at the end of the day, the best teams are gonna be fighting for the championship,
Yeah,
and the teams that maybe ended up with the bad records by the time they face a team that is better than them just because they are better than them. I mean, they are not going to win just because of it. So
yep,
I think that this is a great scheduling system that was put in place for this season. Is very interesting. And furthermore, we're seeing a lot of really great games. Yes, we got a few blowouts this week, but for the most part, it's been a lot of really good games so
yep,
far this season.
yeah, and just kind of talking some more about the league here, real quick. We do have starting this next week. We do have a rookie check-in starting again. So for all of you guys looking to be a rookie in the SFL this upcoming season, this this next week, I believe it starts this next Wednesday. Make sure you guys start your check-ins. Make sure you got your bits in, you got your check-ins done, because this will count going towards your guys' draft value. And the more, if you get all your bits in early, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't get your bits in early, it's something you got to do week to week. You just got to make sure you get your check-ins done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most definitely because you want to get everything right from the beginning, right? So you don't want to be looking up to start off. So just do your check-ins. If you know that you're gonna decide to be, this or that position, you know where you want to be. Just start you're doing your thing, and you're gonna be one of the top picks in this upcoming draft.
Yep. And so just kind of give you a breakdown real quick for your guys' check-ins. Any bits that you cheer need to go into at the top of the Discord, and the SFL Discord need to go into the bit log. Make sure you log them when you are inside that. Make sure you put in your player name, your Twitch name, so they can track the bits as to where they came from. Also, how many bits you cheered, and then also what the goal was. So for the rookie check-ins, you can put down rookie check-ins draft. I see one here, Solly Richardson. I'll give you a shout out here. He's got his thing. He did a PayPal, which you're able to do as well. Get in touch with SFL Commish on Discord, and he'll be able to give you the PayPal for it. It's $12 for the entire season if you want. If you want to just do PayPal for the draft, it is going to be, I believe it was 900 now. Um, we upped it a little bit. We went from 300, 600 to 900 this upcoming off season because we're going to be doing 9 weeks of bits, 9 weeks of check-ins. But then make sure you just put in the goal rookie check-ins, and then when you put inside the rookie check-in, you put down your player's name, and you pick a primary position that you want to play and a secondary position. Now, these are not solid. You don't have to play these positions no matter what happens. It just lets the league staff know, because we do have a rookie showcase we do at the end of the check-ins and after the, and on I think the week before the draft is what we decided we're doing, and that allows us to be able to build rookie showcase rosters, so we can actually get your guy on the field, give you some film to be able to watch. And we had some really standout players this last season. Ashley Jackson comes to mind immediately as one of the quarterbacks, or no, sorry, not quarterbacks, as one of the receivers actually, because she wasn't one of the top people for her quarterback wanting of a quarterback position, so she played receiver, and she actually had a really good game as a receiver.
Hmm. Right.
So make sure you choose your primary position and your secondary position. This helps us at the league level to know what you want to learn, what you want to play. It helps owners learn what kind of person they're looking for by position. So make sure you guys get those taken care of. Get them done early in the week. They go Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. I believe is when the cutoff is, through Tuesday 11:59 p.m. And that is Central Time. It's always going to be Central Time. We're based off of league headquarters here
Texas.
down in Texas. So you guys make sure you get those taken care of each week, and it's definitely something that teams will be keeping an eye on. And another thing I will say is you're going to be working on your chat ranking, but I see a lot of owners and a lot of general managers say they prefer a quality guy over a quantity guy. They don't want a person that's going
Hmm.
to be absolutely terrible spamming the league with just general mundane nonsense. They want a person who's going to be putting
Hmm.
in quality conversation and constructive criticism, like all of that. They want a guy that's going to have that good character. So there's something to keep in mind for sure. So,
Definitely.
but I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Unless you got anything else there, Ramos.
No, nothing else. I mean, just enjoy this upcoming week of SFL action. The playoffs are going to start here in just a few weeks.
Yep.
Pretty sure if Denver wins,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they will lock a,
yeah,
a
I
spot
believe if Denver wins this week,
or extend that.
they'll lock up at least a playoff spot guaranteed. I think if they
Right.
win the next 2 weeks, I believe they're guaranteed at least number two. I could be wrong on that. I don't know specifically what the standings are as far as playoff position is, but I believe the magic number for at least the number two seed is two for the Denver Nightwings. So we'll have to see how that goes. So,
Definitely, yes.
but
And just enjoy this week. We have a lot of rivalries.
oh yeah,
Mexico City, Alaska, Baltimore against Tallahassee. You know, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna pan out.
yeah, no, I agree 100%. So, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I appreciate you guys sticking with us through. Like I said, these last few weeks we've had a little bit of a rough go, being able to get the podcast out. Um, and actually, before we do go, make sure you guys. I know a lot of you have been checking them out. We do have Ashley Jackson, one of our community members here. She's been doing her own podcast. Just recently, she had Cameron Irvine, the commissioner of the SFL, on, and she did an interview with him. We also
Mm-hmm.
have what looks like Kramer Jackman, one of the Denver Nightwings players, is kind of doing his own little shindig
Yes,
over
sir.
there in Denver. They're doing their own little podcast on their YouTube channel, so make sure you check them out as well. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
you guys just keep it up, good, keep up the good work. I mean, basically, guys, like we're all trying to do our own thing, and I'm hoping to get some more guests on here soon. So if you need, if you're wanting to get on there, make sure you send me a message on Facebook. On Facebook, wow, on Discord. I don't know why I said Facebook, but send me a message on Discord. I am Ryan Karpinski, the Assistant Director of Player Personnel. You'll see me at the very top of the Discord member list. I'm kind of hard to miss. So, but with that, you guys have a good night and enjoy some SFL action here Friday night. We got a good one coming up here. Excuse me, I got a frog in my throat with Sioux Falls at Queen City. So you guys make sure you get in that Twitch chat. That's where it's going to be. Twitch.tv/simulation and simulation FL. And you guys got those bits. Let them loose.